Welcome to FRCMedia News for Thursday, May 6, 2021. I'm Keith Tebow. As more people get vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine, the state is looking to better target high-risk areas like Fall River. The focus of the testimony in the federal trial of former Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa shifts to the charges of government corruption. And the city celebrates Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. All that and more coming up. We start with an update now on the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. Here in Fall River, over 37%, or 33,331 residents, have received at least one dose of the vaccine, with 25%, or 22,393 residents, fully vaccinated. An update is expected later today. Get the latest on our webpage, frmedia.org/COVID vaccine. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker this week announced a shift in the distribution of the vaccine. Beginning Monday, residents will be allowed to walk in for appointments at any of the mass vaccination sites. The governor also said the state will eventually move away from the mass vaccination sites to focus on cities at high risk of infection, among them Fall River.
We'll begin this shift in part by providing 22 regional collaboratives with more doses to run their programs, doubling the state vaccine allocation for our 20 most disproportionately impacted communities, and expanding our mobile vaccination clinics. Over 21,000 doses have been administered through mobile vaccination efforts through a combination of our equity work, our healthcare providers, and our mass vac sites. They've been deployed in Boston, Chelsea, Brockton, Fall River, Springfield, and New Bedford, and will continue to expand. The mobile clinics have been particularly effective in our equity communities and to reach people of color. So far, over 60% of vaccine recipients at these clinics have been people of color. We'll continue to expand these efforts statewide to bring vaccines to senior centers, houses of worship, YMCAs, and other community-based organizations. Every community and every region is different, so our administration will look to providers and municipalities as they establish creative ways to meet their community's needs.
There continues to be plenty of options for Fall River residents to get the vaccine, many of which are walk-in appointments. Mayor Paul Coogan tells us the city is launching a new website and hotline phone number to help residents find a vaccination site.
It's going to be frvax.com, and you can go on there and get all the updated information on vaccines available in Fall River that we can give you. There's also going to be a hotline number, and I'll give it out, 833-8-VAX-NOW, where they can also schedule an appointment or find out the hours that are available to get a vaccine. We do have walk-up clinics in Fall River already. We had a meeting yesterday with Tess, looking at other alternative spots where we could set up our rolling vaccination site to get as many as we could. We actually had one yesterday in the lobby, a Johnson & Johnson vaccine clinic, and about 20 people walked in and took advantage of it. So as long as people stay with us and stay informed, anybody in Fall River that wants a vaccine now can get one.
Along with the city's new website and local hotline number, you can find out information on how some of our local pharmacies are distributing the vaccine through the state's web portal, vaxfinder.mass.gov. Testimony in the federal trial of former Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa continued this week. Evidence focused on the government corruption side of the case, the allegations Correa bribed recreational marijuana vendors looking to set up shop here in Fall River. Dan Medeiros of the Herald News tells us that thus far, prosecutors Zach Hafer and David Tobin have been methodical in presenting its case to the jury.
They've been trying to lay things out very precisely because, again, it can be really easy to get confused. Because a lot of this goes back many years. The first witnesses that they were calling, they are talking about things that happened in 2010. And like now they're going all the way up to 2018, 2019 in some cases, talking about events that happened in those years. So they have been, I would call it hyper precise when it comes to witnesses and providing testimony. Every single thing that comes up and is presented as evidence has to be attested to. They're very diligent about like having the witnesses attest to every single document that they see. Is this your handwriting? Is this document accurate? When they read something, is that correct what I said? And they're always trying to generate a very straightforward narrative.
On the other side, defense attorney Kevin Reddington is attempting to plant doubt around the evidence to both the jury and witnesses.
In cross-examination, Reddington has been a lot more all over the place. He'll tend to bounce back and forward in time. He'll, kind of muddy up the timeline. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but either way, it may have the effect of making the jurors a little bit confused or just knocking them off guard. It definitely has been having the effect of making some of the witnesses feel a bit at ease too. He's had a few moments where he's really gone for some of the witnesses, where you can tell it's definitely gotten them a bit off kilter.
During proceedings today, the prosecution rested after calling its final witness, and the defense called 3 witnesses before resting its case. Correa did not testify on his own behalf. Along with the bribery charges, Correa is also facing wire fraud and tax fraud allegations in the handling of investor funds in his Snow Owl app company. Closing arguments are set for Monday. A legislative panel held an oversight hearing this week investigating the death of 14-year-old Fall River teen David Almond. In October of last year, the autistic teen was found unresponsive in his father's home. David's brother Michael was also found in the apartment suffering from neglect. Michael survived. David died soon after being discovered. John Almond and his girlfriend Jacqueline Coleman have been charged in David's death. The case prompted an investigation by the Massachusetts Child Advocate into failings within the child welfare and local governmental systems. In her opening statement, Child Advocate Maria Masides said the Almond case was the result of a multi-system failure, led by mistakes by the Department of Children and Families in its determination to return David and his brothers to John Almond after previous claims of abuse.
The findings presented in our report are representative of missed opportunities for prevention and intervention with the Almond family. The DCF area office decision to return the boys home was not clinically justified and failed to address the safety of the children, particularly in light of their special needs. Mr. Almond and Ms. Coleman minimally engaged in the services required to support reunification. DCF area office staff did not evaluate whether Mr. Almond or Ms. Coleman's behavior and skills had improved to be able to parent their children, particularly when considering the children's special needs.
Masides went on to claim that the Fall River Public Schools lapsed in its role of overseeing and educating David and his brother.
The Fall River Public Schools failed to provide David and Michael with a free and appropriate public education between March of 2020 and David's death in October of 2020, because neither David nor Michael received any academic instruction or related special education services. The failure of the Fall River Public Schools to provide David and Michael with the education they were entitled to is a direct result of the complexities of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Following the investigation, Masides is recommending tighter oversight by DCF and those within public education.
There is no question that the story we have laid before the public in this report is an extraordinary failure of our system. There is no question that COVID-19 complicated an already complex situation, but there is also no question that we can do better. And my answer in how to do so rests in the 26 recommendations we have laid out in this report. We expect that the OCA will continue to have the full cooperation of all of the public entities in expediting their implementation.
Masadi says in the end, the failings of the state's child welfare system took a youngster away too soon.
Although my testimony today in the OCA focuses on systematic improvements, we have not forgotten the young man who was lost. David was a vivacious, smart, and fun-loving boy who was often described as the mayor of his former school. His impact on those who worked with him and loved him was profound and everlasting. And while there is nothing we can do to bring David back, we do have the opportunity to honor his memory by making permanent changes that will protect other children.
A representative from the Fall River Public Schools was scheduled to testify at the hearing but was unable to attend. Committee co-chair Representative Michael Finn said the committee will be allowed to draft written questions to Superintendent Matthew Malone on the school district's actions in this case. Last week, the House of Representatives in Boston passed its state budget plan. State Representative Paul Schmidt says the $47.7 billion package will provide Fall River with much-needed support. Among the targets, local education through the Student Opportunity Act.
The House voted to bring the spending in Fall River per student up about 50% over the next 6 years. This is an amazing increase in investment in education. This current year, fiscal 2021, which was the pandemic budget, we were not able to make the sizable step forward. We did put in an inflation increase for education, but we couldn't take that step to bring us up over 6 years to the full increase. But the good news is that we're able to do that for fiscal year 2022. And that just means more money for our teachers, more money to invest in social services at the schools.
Representative Schmidt said the House is taking a conservative approach on how it will spend the billions of dollars the state will receive from the recent COVID American Rescue Plan.
We're being very careful about not mixing the federal money in to our state budget, because we don't want to start funding programs that we will only have to cut after the federal money goes away. So we'll be using that money for one-time efforts, primarily around still dealing with COVID. But we don't want to set us up for cuts that come after the federal money goes away.
The House passed unanimously 160-0. A sign Schmidt says legislators are focused on the same goal.
I think all of us are so tired of the fighting that goes down in Washington. And all of us just say, gosh, if only they would just concentrate on taking care of us rather than scoring points. Here in Massachusetts, although we still have, certainly politics enters into it, and it should. That's the democratic process, having give and take and debate. But the give and take and the debate really is focused on taking care of people in Massachusetts. And we've always said, and I think this is a good example, that in Massachusetts, we tend to work for the people. And it doesn't matter, an idea isn't a Republican idea or a Democratic idea. If it's a good idea, then we try to get behind it. And I think the House budget is a good reflection of that.
The Senate is expected to debate its budget proposal later on this month. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Certified teacher. Learn Well, a behavioral health facility in Fall River, is in need of a part-time certified teacher to work with adolescent students in a small classroom setting, supporting them academically with common core subjects while they are receiving treatment. Job number 1480519. Automotive technician. Sullivan Tire, located at 456 Rodman Street, is looking for a part-time automotive technician to perform routine vehicle maintenance, test vehicle components, and repair automobiles and light passenger trucks. Job number 147-74798. Mail clerk. Bristol Community College, located at 777 Ellsbury Street, is seeking a full-time mail clerk to receive, sort, and deliver mail and other items to BCC's offices and departments at all locations. Job number 147-74130. Family Service Association, located at 101 Rock Street, is in need of the following full and part-time positions. Dietary aid, job number 147-64541. LPN, job number 147-64540. Caregiver, job number 147-64545. Group leader, job number 147-57595. For more information on these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
The COVID-19 vaccine is here. The distribution of the vaccine is taking place in phases. Soon, everyone will have the opportunity to get vaccinated.
According to the CDC, getting the vaccine helps lower the risk of contracting COVID-19, along with reducing the severity of the virus if you get sick. It also protects your family and community from infection.
After receiving the vaccine, we encourage you to continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, and practice social distancing.
The vaccine is provided free of charge for all Massachusetts residents. Appointments are required.
Find out more about when you can receive the vaccine and schedule an appointment. Visit mass.gov/COVID vaccine or by calling 211.
Protect yourself and those around you.
Stay informed.
Secure your spot and get your shot.
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 Welcome back. The city of Fall River this week held a flag-raising ceremony in honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The ceremony recognized the countries with the largest representation of Fall River residents: China, Cambodia, Hong Kong, India, and Vietnam. Several members of the local Asian American community spoke during the event. Jessica Wong of the Massachusetts Asian American Commission and member of the city's Diversity Committee celebrated the contributions of local Asian Americans while recognizing the stigmas and obstacles they still face.
Till this day, Fall River has become more diverse, with the Cambodian Americans sharing their rich culture every year at the temple in the Highlands, to the Vietnamese women making us feel beautiful at the nail salon, to the South Asians operating our local convenience stores in our neighborhoods. It is important for Fall River to recognize and support these diverse communities by giving them a platform to share their stories and experiences, educate our students on Asian American history in our schools, and welcome Asian Americans to have a seat at the table when decisions are being made that impact our communities directly. With the high increase in anti-Asian hate crimes, it is imperative that Fall River is intentional with becoming a more inclusive city. Over 3,500 hate crimes against Asian Americans have been reported in just this past year alone, not only throughout the United States, but right here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Many folks in the Asian American community are feeling a lot of fear and pain right now. This is a critical time to ensure that we are recognizing this issue and protecting the Asian American community. Our communities need to be celebrated, seen, and heard.
David Nguyen, owner of U.S. Bedding in Fall River, spoke of his appreciation of how the city has embraced the growth of his business.
A few years ago, I have an offer from the state of Rhode Island and the state of South Carolina to move my factory there. But with the love of the city, the people here, I choose to stay. And with the help from Mr. Mayor and Mr. Ken Fiola, now I have the opportunity to expand my company. And another thing I can tell you, I have another friend who live in New York, and he already committed to open the factory in South Carolina. And I took him here. I showed him around the city of Fall River, the people here. And I took him to lunch here, and I showed him, and he really commit. And this year, he's going to invest $5 million in the factory here. And with that, he can bring in 50 or 100 good paying jobs to the city.
Finally this week, we'd like to invite you to watch a special program that will debut on FRC Media Channel 95 this coming Tuesday. Duos, Piano, Flamenco, Tango is a program produced by married musicians Kirk Whipple and Marilyn Morales.
And in this case, Duos, Piano, Flamenco, Tango, we both have a love of Latin music. And Marilyn, of course, is 100% Latina. And the music in the program that we've written on and off over the years is a nice healthy mix of flamenco, tango, salsa, classical Spanish, and classical music, absolutely. So this was, I want to say, about maybe 15 years ago we started thinking about this particular program, and we've performed it with several duos. The personnel has changed for this program over the years, but we have a wonderful lineup this season for this particular broadcast.
The program will feature Whipple and Morales on piano, accompanied by 2 dance couples.
We've got 3 men, 3 women in the company. And I love to say this is our sextet. And actually, the flamenco dancer is from Colombia, the tango dancer from Argentina, the men, and the women, the
Murcia, Spain,
for our flamenco dancer,
Pardo, and also Mariela Barufaldi from Argentina.
Yeah, so
and me from Cuba.
And exactly.
There you go.
So I don't think that this community, this company of ours, could be more diverse if we tried.
Yeah.
Prior to the performance, Whipple and Morales will host a special lecture detailing how the program was made.
The online lecture it's a half an hour, and we'll walk through the program, and we'll be talking about each of the musical pieces. We'll also be talking about a little bit about the dancers. Part of the fun with the online thing is that we get an opportunity to share some backstage stories, if you will, that you wouldn't get to know if you weren't at the pre-concert lecture. So by all means, watch the 1-hour show. But if you want to hear a little gossip, a couple of fun things that happen backstage, this isn't going to be just a dry, brainy lecture at all.
No.
We'll tell everybody about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Duos, Piano, Flamenco, Tango premieres this Tuesday, May 11th at 7 p.m. exclusively on FRC Media Channel 95. Funding for the program was provided in part by the Fall River Cultural Council. We'll wrap up FRC Media News right after this.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Silas with us. He is 10 years old. He is a lot like Mordecai. So he is also declawed in the front. He does have back nails though. He does get along with other cats. He would definitely benefit in a quieter home. He does get nervous. He's also a good lap cat as well. He doesn't mind being held. He's very easygoing. We'll flip you this way. Both these older guys, they're very similar, both very sweet. I feel like the only difference with these two is just their color. Besides that, they're very similar personalities. If you want to come down and meet Silas, I know he'd love to meet you. We are located at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter. Today we have Nellie. She is a 1-year-old Basset Hound mix. For her benefit, she'd be better with no children. She loves to run, so she would definitely make it also a good hiking partner, or just, she loves to go for walks. She would do good in dog parks. Sometimes she will sit. It is a work in progress, but she is very intelligent, so I think it would be very easy to train her. Usually after about 5 to 10 minutes, once she gets used to the scent, or she won't leave you alone. If you want to come down and meet Nellie, we are located at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter. I know Nellie would love to meet you.
La vacuna contra el COVID-19 ya está disponible en Massachusetts y su distribución se está haciendo por etapas. Muy pronto, todo el mundo tendrá la oportunidad de vacunarse. De acuerdo a los estudios realizados y las recomendaciones del CDC, vacunarse no solo reduce el riesgo de contraer la enfermedad, sino que disminuye la gravedad de la misma en caso de contagio, además de proteger su familia y a la comunidad en general de la transmisión. Después de recibir la vacuna, todavía tendremos que continuar utilizando mascarillas, mantener el apropiado distanciamiento y lavarnos las manos con frecuencia hasta tanto nuestras autoridades nos den nuevas recomendaciones. La vacuna es gratuita para todos los que vivimos en Massachusetts, pero se requiere hacer una cita para recibirla. Para saber más de cómo hacer tu cita, por favor visite mas.gov/COVID-vaccine o llame al 211. Protéjase y proteja a su familia. Manténgase bien informado. Haga su cita y vacúnese.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for all the latest news and information, including our coverage of the trial of former Mayor Jazel Correa and the latest information on the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great Mother's Day. We'll talk to you next Thursday.